Hey guys, so it has been a hot minute, as I'm sure you are aware, since I have filmed and or posted a video. There's been a lot that's been going on in my life and the lives of those around me, so I figured I would just kind of sit down, put some makeup on for another video I'm about ready to do, and just kind of chat about where I've been, what's going on in my life, and catch up with you guys. So, I'm probably not going to just talk about what I'm putting on my face as far as like products go. I'll put a list down below in the description box if you were curious about what I was using for something, unless it's like something that I'm like been in love with and I know you guys haven't seen it. So, I mean, I have really big problems with my skin being dry lately, and that has been annoying because I used to be like the oiliest person on the planet. And when you're an oily person, like you have all this stuff to dry out your skin and make it matte and like perfect, and so I have all this texture, but it's so dry that I just can't figure out what to put on my face. It's very frustrating. So, also my friend Jamie, who you guys are going to get to know very well very soon, I'm sure, is in the background over here, just to my right.
Hello!
He is a goofball. I know you guys are used to Katie being in the background of my videos, so I didn't think it would be an issue at all with him being there. Also, you might notice that I have a different background. I have this like shoe rack behind me and like some, gosh, what are they, like some accessories.
Oh, girl. There's the word.
Well, there it is. I have some accessories and stuff. You guys are used to me filming either with my black backdrop or at my previous apartment with just like my scarves and everything behind me. But we have moved technically twice since the last time I posted a video. We moved last year, 2017, to an apartment in town, and in that whole journey, we ended up accidentally getting an apartment that was flooding. So that was fun, and they ended up just moving us again a few months later to a different apartment, which we actually ended up liking better, so that's fun. Cheeks are really red for some reason today. I think it's because I put on a toner earlier, and I don't put on toners very often. So, if you feel like you just need to smear all over your face, like just the whole thing. Just conceal the whole thing. Start all over. I also need to do my brows. Things you notice. Oh, God. Whoop. This Color Pop concealer is nice, but like I don't feel like it covers my dark circles. But we'll just go with it. I didn't even check to see what color this was. Oh good, it was the right one. I was like, ooh, she looking a little fair. So what else has happened since we moved? I've done in a Q&A before, I've talked a little bit about infertility and like fibroids and stuff. We've had a lot going on with that journey. It's going poorly. I mean, I don't know how else to say. It's not, I mean, I'm not pregnant. We have not had a baby. That would be cool, but no, that's not where I have been off hiding because I've had a child or anything. But so we went through a lot of like injections and tests and imaging, and we've pretty much done it except for when it comes to IVF. And that's not because we haven't discussed IVF with our doctor. It's because our doctor thinks just like our success rates would be really low right now. So, and that's really hard to hear from your doctor, like, oh, let's not do IVF. Your success rates are just too low, and it would be really hard on your body, blah, 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 blah. Now, Morgan, why would your success rates be so low? Well, as you guys know, I'm plus size, so part of what they equate when they, you know, put together your statistics of success for IVF is actually your body mass index and a number of other things, but your other like infertility factors. So because I've had all those surgeries with fibroids, I have got basically a bunch of scar tissue, and that puts me at a higher risk for losing that pregnancy, those kinds of things. So that already brings my chances of a successful IVF cycle, pregnancy, however you want to call it, really low. And then when you combine that with my overall size as a human being, it makes it worse. So essentially, guys, like my mask I'm putting on right now.
I was about to say, like, whoa. I mean, you look good, girl, but damn.
So...
No judgment from the peanut gallery.
I mean, maybe this is what I need in life. Maybe I just need... Okay, but think about, like, how red my face is. Like, your face is not supposed to be red.
Right.
But it is. It's like a mask. I have to make sure, I get up in that hairline. Starting from the bottom, now we here.
we just a little less above the bottom.
A little. Can you imagine how scary it would be to wake up to me looking like this though every morning? Like, oh my goodness. So, basically, we had a real talk discussion, and I've been working with this doctor for 2.5 years. So this is not someone who I don't trust, someone who's turned me away because of my size before. It's nothing like that. So it's not, to me, I don't feel like, it's not like a breach of trust or anything that she's like, sorry, you're too fat. Like, that's not it. And so we evaluated a lot of things, and basically back in May, we were like, okay, let's cut our losses and let's really work on like weight loss and go see someone about potentially having weight loss surgery. And I have done that. Jury is still out on whether or not I'm actually going to have the surgery later this year, but it seems likely that I will choose to do that. Now, if you have ever been in the position where you're struggling with infertility, first of all, I'm sorry, it's the worst thing in the world. Second of all, you know that you get to a point where you would do anything to make this baby happen. Like, what have we got to do? Show me the magic pill. Show me, whatever it is. And it's weird because you set boundaries for yourself when you initially go in and you're like, okay, I'm not sure I'm ever comfortable doing IVF. We totally considered doing IVF. Like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable doing this. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable doing that. And, you get to the point where that's, a privilege to say where, oh, I'm not comfortable doing this. I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't have that option. It's, if I want a baby, I have to be comfortable doing anything. And part of that anything right now is having bariatric surgery. If you guys want a video on bariatric surgery and all of that kind of information, sure, but 100% the reason we're going after bariatric surgery in any way is because we want a baby. And that sounds so horrible, but I'm on a timeline. My uterus has an expiration date. We don't know that expiration date, but eventually my doctors are gonna say, okay, we can't just have surgery and fix this and you go back to trying to having a baby again. Where's my brush? Eventually they're gonna have to say, okay, Morgan, enough's enough. Your body can't keep doing this. You can't keep going through this. We're gonna have to walk away. And that's a hard thing to have on your brain. So the reason we're considering bariatric surgery, not just natural diet, is because we want to beat the expiration date, essentially. And adoption is an incredible thing. There are going to be, I feel 100 comments, well, you can always adopt, don't have bariatric surgery. I feel people are going to be all up in the comments saying that. First of all, if you haven't been there, keep it to yourself. Second of all, adoption is an incredible process. Yes, it's very expensive, so is IVF. That my whole thing. But if you have never been in the place where a doctor has told you you may never have your own biological children, and then the first thing you thought was, oh, I'll just adopt. We don't share the same feelings. That was heartbreaking for me because I love my husband. And not that you don't if you've had those feelings, but like, I adore who he is as a human being. And like, I think the two of us could make a really cool person. Like, and I want to meet who that person is. Jamie's over here laughing, but like, it's weird. Because you just have this desire to know what that human is, what they're like. And I just don't think that like I'll ever get over that, not knowing who that person is. And so that's why we've tried so hard. Will we potentially adopt one day if we're only able to have a single child biologically? Absolutely. Could we potentially adopt even if we have more than one child biologically? Absolutely. Many people don't know this, but my husband and both of my brother-in-laws were adopted in some way or another. You know, Brad's dad adopted him. He's not his biological dad. And like Donnie was adopted in the more traditional sense as a young child and like those kinds of things. So it's not that we're not aware of what a blessing adoption is. Like, adoption got my family these 3 incredible men, and because I firmly believe if their parents hadn't adopted them, then they may not have ended up in Kansas. They may not have ended up in our lives. So these incredible families that adopted our boys, like, I have 2 sisters, so these families are incredible to us. It's not something that we look down upon at all. We're just not ready to give up on our own biological kiddos yet. So that's kind of where we are with that. That turned into like a whole tangent. Oh, like, I'm still in school, so like, while all of this infertility stuff is going on, we're like trying to graduate. And failing, in case you were curious. Brad and I are both in school. We're both working. Throughout basically the entire last year, I was working 2 jobs, so essentially full-time and going to school. And dealing with infertility and and so it was just like something had to give, and that's where you guys come in. You guys were what had to give. And should I have maybe said something? Probably. I don't know. On one hand, also I'm going to use this giant Dare to Create palette from Morphe. It was from their holiday collection last year, but it's actually being released because it was so requested. So they are releasing this palette, I think soon, here in the next few weeks, I believe, to the public again. And that's kind of why I thought I would use it today, is if you guys didn't get your hands on it for the holidays, you could see what a fun palette it is. I'm going to start with Bear, because they actually like came with like names for once on a Morphe palette, which is the rarest thing on the planet. But I feel like they started that with the Jaclyn Hill palette last summer. I got the original version of that, so mine like looks grungy and gross. And then they released a plastic version of it that doesn't get grungy and gross. So I'm a little salty. But many of us were. I didn't prime my eyelids. We're going without. We're going without. We're just going to see what these do on their own. What else is happening in our lives, Jamie? Oh yeah, Jamie's my second roommate in this apartment. My husband and I.
And the better one. Oh!
Ooh, true facts. We won't shade that person by saying their name, but Jamie is our second roommate in this apartment. We took on a roommate last year because we thought, you know, they really needed to get out of the situation they were in, and we thought it would save us money in the long run. It didn't. And then we didn't want to move again. And Jamie could use the money saving from not being in his own apartment. So we all moved in together. So now there are 2 cats, a rabbit, and a dog all living in this apartment with us. And
goals.
It's a lot. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot. They seem to be getting along okay. I don't know. Jamie, opinion?
Oh yeah, I mean, No one's died yet, so.
Goals.
Still worried about Stormy, though.
Yeah. So Stormy's my bunny rabbit. I haven't really talked about having a rabbit on this channel, I don't think. Stormy's almost 12. He turns 12 in like August. And he's he's a little frail, to put it nicely. And we've changed his enclosure up so that he has more access to softer areas and just has more freedom to move and stretch as he needs to help his arthritis. Basically, Stormy has this new enclosure. And he seems to love it. He seems to love being on the floor and in his little area. But it creates a new problem of the dog and the cats kind of getting into his space easier. Oh, something else that happened since the last time I talked to you guys. I started working for Amazon over a year ago. I don't think I've posted a video since like the spring of last year. And I started working for them May of last year. We're doing a green eye look today. I don't know why, but we're doing it. Yeah, I started working for them in May of last year. I work from home. It's totally fun. Sometimes it's awful because people are awful to customer service representatives. So if you're out there and you're one of those people, rude. I'm just saying it. The color is named Fickle, so I feel like maybe... Did you say me?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if the color is named Fickle, it shouldn't be in a palette because we don't like fickle eyeshadows around here. I mean, it doesn't look bad, it just feels bad. Oh, I think that made it worse. Look at Jamie and his makeup knowledge. Oh my gosh, this is the green I used on you on Halloween. Put in picture here. Okay, let's see. What's crazy is this is also a Morphe Brushes palette, and I know that this green is lovely. Oh, that really did help. Look at Jamie. The secret to all makeup knowledge is just within Jamie. Or does it look like I have a black eye?
I don't know if you do both.
Fair.
Is Brad hitting you? Blink once.
No, he's not. Jamie would know. He's here all the time. But in reality, this is what my channel is. Me trying and failing to be a beautiful person.
God. That's not depressing.
I just mean like a beauty guru, beautiful person. Now, the primary reason I wanted to do this look is because I have this Diamond Dust L'Oreal Crushed Foil eyeshadow that I really wanted to use, and it's so cute. And I thought, oh, I'll just do a cute eye look and I'll put this all over it and it'll just be fab. With that green, would have been fabulous with brown or reds too. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going in with Evolve. Right here. Now we're going to wet a brush and we are going to put that foil shadow all over my lid to basically fix everything that is wrong with my life right now. That's a lot to ask from an eyeshadow. Speaking of sippy sippy, oh my gosh, did you guys see the Shane Dawson Graveyard Girl situation? Because Jamie and I watched the whole thing.
It
and
gave me all the life I needed.
Shane Dawson has been on it, like, for basically the last 3 months, I would say. Like, yes, Shane has always been, like, a big YouTuber. And he has always been someone people, like, look up to and everything. But it just, like, is a whole new Shane. And I feel like it's the real Shane. Don't you? I feel like this is who he's wanted to be on his channel.
Yeah.
And it's just not been what he's felt comfortable doing. And it is...
Well, because with, like... I mean, I'm assuming you have too, but I've been watching Shane Dawson, like, since the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really like... The skits were funny and everything. And, like, his characters were funny. But that's when I kind of stopped watching.
Right.
And then, like, his era, I guess you'd say, before this new, like...
Crazy.
Like, documentary series he's been having. I didn't like those at all. But this stuff I actually enjoy watching.
This isn't as blingy as I wanted it to be. We're gonna do a switch up. Like, pretend like this is a bass. All about the bass. This is Sequin from ColourPop. And it is blinding. And I feel like it'll look really good over the top of this. Yeah, so Shane Dawson. Docu-series. Also, can we talk about the fact that he's literally grown up before our eyes on YouTube, though? Like, the rest of us have the benefit of, like, being trashy, gross 18-year-olds not on the internet. And I just feel like this is, like, this is gonna sound super cheesy, but this is like the Phoenix right now. Like, he's in a Phoenix situation. He is rising from the YouTube ashes because he's grown up. He's a different human being now. He's like full on adult. I mean, what, he's in his 30s now, isn't he? Or
yeah.
about to be 30?
Yeah, I think he's at least 29 or 30, or... I think he might be a little... He's like 32, probably.
Like, I'm not 100% for sure how old he is. But if I'm 30... Which is not that far away. Oh, God. But if I'm 30 and doing YouTube, I would hope that it would be more of a mature situation than what it was, you know, when I was 25. And I think that's what's happening with Shane right now, is it's really hitting his stride into what his channel can be and should be, and still allowing for growth. Because yes, he has 8 million subscribers, something like that.
I'm trying to, like, 11 million now.
Is it really 11? I think it was
'cause he
8.
He had a video where he got his diamond play button, which is...
Oh, really?
The cursor
The
for 10 million
yeah.
subscribers, yeah.
So, Shane has, 11 million subscribers. Oh, Graveyard Girl has 8. That's where that number came from. 11 million subscribers. Like, he has the room to grow still, because when you have creators like PewDiePie, who have, like, what, 60 million subscribers now? It's just unreal. It's like basically everybody is subscribed to him. And you just can't expect people to grow up on their channel. Jenna was just talking about this in something I was watching. Was I watching that with you?
I don't know.
Where she was talking about the changes she made to her YouTube channel, and like how people can't expect the same type of stuff out of her as a 30-year-old woman as they did when she was like, just graduating from college.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is so true. You can't.
Right.
How do we feel about this? This look.
Yeah, you look good.
It's like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Oh. I know we haven't talked about, Jamie.
What?
We're dumb. We haven't talked about the podcast.
Oh.
Okay, so podcasts. Jamie kind of got me into listening to more podcasts. I watched videos on YouTube where people were filming their podcasts, but I've been listening to them on my phone more lately, and that's all thanks to Jamie. And him showing me the Jenna and Julia podcast, and just kind of got me into the, oh, you know, this is like talk shows for millennials. And I started kind of really looking into podcasts. Well, Jamie and I have tangents that we go on all the time. So we spend a lot of time in our pool, we're hanging out on the front deck, and like just talking. And we go on like 2 or 3 hour long tangents all the time. And so I asked Jamie, I was like, you know, how would you feel about doing a podcast together? And he's like, you know, that's actually something I've always been interested in doing, but I've never like really had the stuff to do it. Or, I mean, what did you say? What were you saying about it? Like,
well, yeah, that's one thing. I've never had like the equipment to do it, and I don't know, I've just never sat down and done it before.
Right. So that's actually the video I'm getting ready for. Is we're going to videotape and voice record a podcast. So they're going to appear on YouTube as podcasts. We haven't come up with an official name. I don't know if there's even one Jamie's leaning towards. I gave him like 70 options last night and he only said yes to like maybe one. And so we haven't got a name for our podcast yet, but maybe that's the whole name, but we haven't got a name. But, so we are going to film a podcast after this. Obviously, by the time we post the podcast, we'll name it something. And, it's going to go up on this channel primarily. And eventually, we want to give it its own channel. We want it to be its own, like, standalone thing. But I know that you guys are already here. There's already a little bit of a, you know, community here. And you seem interested in my opinions on things and like topics, and you guys seem to be open to a lot of types of content, and the idea of doing a podcast intrigues me, and Jamie and I already kind of tangent on each other all the time. So we're going to start a podcast, and ideally you'll be able to find them on iTunes and the app store. I cannot talk to App Store and all of those things. And primarily the topic of conversation is kind of up in the air right now. I think a lot of it will just be current events or opinion, and then right now Jamie and I are trying to eat keto, do the keto diet, so there will probably be discussion about doing keto. Let's put on some blush. Let's see what else will we talk about. There will probably be discussion about like body positivity and like weight loss. Obviously, we were just talking about how I'm looking at bariatric surgery. And there'd probably be discussion about that on the podcast and what it's like, you know, leading up to that. There would probably be discussion about, you know, okay, so there will probably be a lot of discussion about growing up in a very conservative state, and like Jamie is gay, and I'm sure there's some feelings he needs to get out there about that. But he also grew up Catholic, and you know, I was raised in a very conservative home. For goodness sakes. Okay, it was not focusing. So, yeah, I grew up in a really conservative household. Jamie did as well. And so I'm sure there's a lot of discussion to be had on that front. I'm sure there's a lot of discussion to be had on the political front as well. We're a little bit vocal about opinions. If you're curious now, spoiler alert, we're not very conservative people. I grew up in a conservative home, but that's just how I was raised. It's not how I've grown. And it's not something I'm necessarily like ashamed of to say I grew up in a conservative home, but there's definitely been some things that I didn't realize were not normal. about that experience, not everyone has that experience that I had. And that will not be like a bash my parents conversation either. My parents are wonderful people. We just disagree on a lot of, I would say, political conversations. We just have some disagreement there. So I'm going to highlight here, and then I'm going to put on a lip and some mascara, and then we'll be done. And then we're actually going to go film our very first podcast that eventually we will name. But I don't know, what other stuff would we talk about, Jamie? Thoughts? Is there a conversation you really want to have?
I mean, not that I can think of off the top of my head.
There you go.
Good talk, fam.
I think it'll probably also be, I don't know, there'll be times when it's like lighthearted, I feel like, but there'll be times when it's not.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want this to be like a dramaturg where that's all we talk about. It's like serious issues and that's it.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, it'll be nice to weave those into a conversation rather than just doom, gloom, and serious things.
So be prepared, Jamie is incoming. He's about to make your life a better place. And I just got mascara all over my eyelid. But yeah, so I'm going to finish up doing my mascara and we'll be back with a little closer. What is this? Birthday suit? Have I even used this? Sure haven't. Ooh, it's today of the day. I'm not going to put on a liquid lipstick. It's a whole nude. This is cute. She cute. And we are going to use a little Kylie lip gloss. I feel like summer is just like such a good time for like lip gloss. Izzy, do you want to say hi to the channel?
Oh!
I feel like it should be Jamie's responsibility, but I'm gonna do it. Hi. Oh! Don't lick my face.
Lick the makeup.
Don't lick my face. This is not tested on animals.
Oh no, baby girl!
So this is Izzy. And
Dobby has no master. She looks like Dobby.
You look like Dobby. But Izzy is Jamie's rescue. How old is she now?
She is 4 or 5, I think.
4 or 5. We are not for sure, but she is a total scaredy cat. And she thinks she's the big dog on campus at the same time. Yes. But we love each other. We're developing a relationship. Yeah. She doesn't like being home.
She's like, yeah, I guess who's over this?
Well, okay guys, so the next time you see me, I'll still have this makeup on. What a fun topic. So the next time you see me, still have this makeup on, but it will be in a podcast setup. So the podcast will come out once a week. The idea is to do a podcast once a week and then for me to do a separate video once a week. It may move to twice a month, depending on work and school and everything. I don't want to promise once a week yet, but twice a month is the goal. Much more than that, and you're welcome. But so please keep an eye out for the podcast. It should be up. I'm hoping to post this Wednesday, and then Friday we'll put up the first podcast. So keep an eye out for the podcast, and of course be sure to subscribe. You don't have to click the notification bell if you don't want to, but you know, just keep an eye out for when we post things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!